you're about to see are hoping to step out beyond the USA. They're competing for membership to an elite group, the team to represent the USA in world competition. ESPN and the United States Gymnastics Federation are in the Valley of the Sun, Tempe, Arizona. Presenting the 1989 World Championship Team Trials. Welcome to the ASU Activity Center on the campus of Arizona State University. Hello everyone, I'm Leandra Riley, and joining me in this telecast is Olympic medalist Kathy Johnson. And Kathy, we said 16 of the best gymnasts of the USA are here, but really the one who's #1, Brandy Johnson, she's unable to compete.
That's right. Brandy Johnson came down with a virus, and it's being treated with antibiotics now, and she's recovering nicely. However, her teammate, Wendy Bruce, is here, and she's leading the pack, just ahead of Christy Henrich and Sandy Woolsey. And, of course, there's 1988 Olympian Shelley Stack. So it's going to be a tight competition for those 8 spots.
We said 16 of the best gymnasts. They were determined by the Nationals that were held a few weeks ago. What happened at Nationals still matters today as the scores from Nationals carry over.
Well, the all-around scores from USA Championships will count 30%. The all-around scores from the World Championship Team Trials will be 70%. And the top 8 compose the World Championship team after you combine those scores.
All right, we're about to see what happens here, but let's take you back in time. In case you're not aware of what happened at the U.S. Nationals, let's take you back to Minnesota. The meet happened back in July, and there were some fine performances. Brandy Johnson was the top finisher at the U.S. Nationals, claiming the all-around title and taking 3 of the 4 individual event gold medals that were awarded. This 16-year-old from Altamont Springs, Florida, vaulted, balanced, and tumbled her way to the title of U.S. National Champion. She's supported by her mother. She's coached by Kevin Brown, and Brandy Johnson can finally say she's #1. Christy Henrich has climbed to the top of the USA ladder with a 2nd-place finish in the all-around, 2nd on balance beam, and 2nd on unevens. But her performance on floor exercise was an excellent showcase of not only her strength, but her charisma. The 3rd all-around finalist at Nationals was Sandy Woolsey. This 2nd-year member of the national team is a 10-year veteran of the sport at age 17. Her strongest events have been vaulting and bars. Uncharacteristically, she didn't do her best on floor exercise, but still she finished 3rd in the all-around. She's thrilled with what she accomplished at the Nationals.
I thought I did really well. I was really pleased with my performance, although I did fall on floor, which set me back. But that was okay because what I did, all the other performances, was really well.
A newcomer to the Nationals this year is Jenny Esther. This 15-year-old from Tulsa, Oklahoma wowed the crowd and amazingly finished 4th in the all-around. Her talent and potential on the uneven parallel bars has the entire world watching. She is a fierce competitor, and since the Nationals, her training has intensified.
Well, then I was just training real hard for championships, and I wanted to make the World Championship trials. So in between there, I've been training very hard, and I think I can make the team.
The only gold medal not won by Brandy Johnson was claimed by this gymnast, Shelley Stack. In the all-around, she placed 7th, but on the uneven parallel bars, she powered her way to the top. It's a great routine. You're watching it here. The judges agreed it was great. They awarded her a 9.725. Shelley Stack took the gold medal at the U.S. Nationals, 1st place on the uneven parallel bars. This is the U.S. national team of 1989, from a field of over 30 competitors down to the best 16, and they're here at Arizona State University. And we'll be back in just a moment with more on Brandy Johnson. She's still eligible to make the team.
Sight and colors that signal view.
University site of these 1989 World Championship Team Trials. As we said at the beginning of this telecast, America's #1 gymnast, Brandy Johnson, is unable to compete. But oh, what a year she's had.
Ever since the Olympic Games in Seoul, she has just come on so strong. She's won every major competition she's been in. And in fact, a world ranking list just came out in World Gymnastics magazine. It's kind of an unofficial list, but she's ranked 4th right now in the world.
And that's including the Soviets and the Eastern Bloc nations, the traditional powerhouses in women's gymnastics. Let's take a look back at what Brandy Johnson has accomplished thus far. Brandy Brandy Johnson has the Midas touch. She claimed a gold medal at the 1989 America Cup, outscoring the Eastern Bloc, the USA, and Europe. She did the same thing against the Soviet Union in a duo meet. She's unable to be here, and the gymnasts miss her motivation.
I think it's really unfortunate that she couldn't compete because I was looking forward to competing against her because I was really ready to compete against anybody or anything because I was working at 10-0s. And if I can score a 10-0, then I can beat anybody.
So Brandy Johnson is missed on numerous points. She is also not motivating her teammates. And is she still eligible, though, to make the World Championship team? How does that work?
She is eligible. In the selection procedures, there's an area for petitions. She's already petitioned. A doctor has verified her illness. Her petition was accepted. And the second step in those criteria is that she has to finish in the top 4 in either the championships or the trials. Of course, she won championships, so she meets that. Now today, if her scores remain in the top 4, counting championship score 100%, and she stays in those top 4, she will automatically be on the team.
So it sounds like she's a pretty safe bet.
Exactly.
All right, what they're striving for is to get to Stuttgart, Germany, which is where the World Championships will be had. The competition is about to begin. We've already had the compulsory event. Let's take a look at how the ladies stack up. Less than 1 point separates the top 4 gymnasts after 1 day of competition. The court leader is Wendy Bruce with 54.25. In second place is 17-year-old Christy Henrich. At 4.11, her 54.23 has her looking at the top spot very closely. Finishing third is Sandy Woolsey. She's 17 years old, has more experience than some of the other gymnasts, and she's also capable of climbing to the top spot with a 54.03. Shelley Stack is currently in 4th place. At age 16, this 4'10" powerhouse, a competitor from Scats, is looking also to climb with strong optional performances. She is a 53.35 all-around total. And finally, the lady who's riding the charts with a bullet. She finished 13th at Nationals, but she's climbed to 6th place with a strong compulsory showing. Watch her today in the optionals. So here are the top 10 gymnasts in the standings after the 4 compulsory events. Remember, they're trying for only 8 berths, and this is their last chance to make the team. We'll be back in a moment with our first event. Jenny Esther is standing by to vault. Site of the 1989 World Championships team trials. Once again, I'm Leandra Riley along with Kathy Johnson, and since the 1988 Olympics, the rules for gymnastics have changed somewhat. Kathy, can you explain the scoring for us?
Well, they've changed to help differentiate between those top routines. As you'll see here, the value parts are worth 3 points. The value parts are down at the bottom. You see the competition 3 rules. They need 2 Bs, 1 C, and 2 Ds, which are the hardest value. The combination or the structure of the exercise is worth 1.5. The execution, 5.1. Now here's where the change is. The bonus points, 4/10 of a point. All routines will be judged out of a 9.6 unless they get their bonus value, which is a little difficult to get. You have to have an extra D in your routine or moves of original combination or an original element. And those are all in the code of points.
All right, it sounds very complicated, but basically it's just a 10-point system, except now you have to earn them. It's not a given. Let's go now over to the vaulting competition. Our first competitor that we are going to see is the little powerhouse, Jenny Esther. She's only 4 feet 10 inches tall, and Jenny Esther is 15 years of age. Currently, she resides in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and she is coached by Christy Kraft. Now, in vaulting, there really hasn't been a significant change since the Olympic Games.
No, the only change will be in the final competition, say at the Olympic Games or at the World Championships. They will have to perform 2 different vaults from 2 different families. So that's really the only change. They will perform 2 vaults today in the all-around competition. They'll score the best vault, and that score counts.
Competition, and that will happen at vault with a gymnast from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Gymnastics.
This is not Jenny's best event. She's extraordinary on the uneven bar. She has beautiful lines on all the events, and she's got good, clean form. But she's not quite as strong and powerful as some of the other gymnasts.
She's an excellent student, too. She carries a 4.18 grade point average.
She's performing a handspring front tuck. She does it very nicely. She could have gotten a little bit more distance from the horse. The height was ample. And, of course, the form. She's always very, very good in that category.
This is her first year on the national team as we take another look.
Now, this score is only worth a 9.9, and they actually raised the value of this vault. What's really nice is you see how tight her legs are together. Many people do what's called a cowboy, pull the knees out. Here again, good pre-flight, good push off the horse. Really, the only thing lacking was that distance. And of course, it's not worth a 10.0.
She says her favorite gymnast is Daniela Silivash. Pretty lofty ideals.
She's going to be performing the same vault again, looking for more distance and, of course, a stuck landing, which is just so important in gymnastics. You can't give away that 1/10 of a point at the end of a routine or by not making your landing. Okay.
It looked like she landed far back on the takeoff board.
Exactly. She was really trying to get a little more power in the run, a little more explosiveness off the horse, but she over-rotated the ball. Huge step on the end, so naturally they'll take the first ball.
So her first vault is the one that will count as we take another look at what went wrong.
This is Lisa Panzeroni.
She had good push here, trying for a little more dynamics there, but definitely over-rotated.
And you don't want to take that step forward, you want to stick it. Her score for the first vault was 9.412, and that will be better than the second.
Her on her uneven bars routine was 9.3.
Now let's go over to the uneven parallel bars, and Wendy Bruce is the competitor. She's the leader after the compulsory event. Wendy Bruce is 16 years of age. She calls North Lauderdale, Florida, home right now.
She really came on strong in the compulsories, which is usually not her strength. Her optionals are much stronger. Nice opening. Front giant to a back giant. Pirouette. Right into her front. She's moving quite well. Little tighter toes and tighter leg form. Definitely helped the routine. She's got enough difficulty. Giant full turn. Now you saw the leg separation on that one giant. That will be a deduction. Into a tuck double flyaway. Little hop on the landing. Now I think she normally does that full twisting giant right into her dismount. She added that giant in between.
Intentionally?
On her second vault,
she was a little bit off on that first giant. I think she just did it for precaution.
Move on to our next vaulter, who's
so Wendy Bruce gives a solid performance on the uneven parallel bars.
Training Center with Coach Bob Levesque. This is Shari Knight.
Now here's her mount sequence. She hops her grip, straddles up to a handstand. This is a front giant, very difficult move. Loses a little bit of form there. Goes right into a back giant. Now, as you can see, her legs come apart, they cross a little bit throughout the whole routine. She just really needs to work on tightening up the form. Right there was the major leg break. She adds that giant, I think, because in warm-up she was going directly into the double flyaway and a tuck double flyaway, which we're going to see this dismount over and over again. It's a very common dismount in gymnastics. And a hop on the landing.
And let's review the scores for the gymnasts we've just seen. Jenny Esther received a 9.45 for vaulting. And Wendy Bruce, the performer we just saw on the uneven parallel bars, scored a 9.587. We are continuing with our coverage of the team trials. The uneven parallel bars and the vault are our focus right now, but let's specifically talk about the unevens and the elements that each gymnast must include.
Every event has special requirements. These are the ones for the uneven bars. You must have 10 elements in the routine with a maximum of 4 performed on one bar. They have to do 2 elements on the low bar and have at least one flight element. Any of these, if they're missing, it's a 1/10 of a point deduction. Most of the gymnasts have them, though. The trick here is getting the bonus points. If they don't have any bonus points, their scores come from a 9.6.
Keeping those points in mind, let's introduce Juliet Bangerter. And this is her hometown, so you'll hear the crowd roar.
And someone told me before the meet that one of her school teachers told the class that if they came to the meet, they'd get extra credit. This is a good event for Juliet. Just watch for her to keep her good form now. Giant full pirouette over the top, right into a reverse head. Straddle back to handstand on the low bar, stalled her swing, right to a handstand. Not many gymnasts do that move anymore. Another giant swing with a full pirouette over the top, right into a tuck double flywheel. That'll give her some bonus points. She's definitely got the bonus here in this routine.